5 plus 5, 10. What colour is the sky? Blue. What am I sitting in right now? A car. These are all definitive answers. And the reason why you feel so stuck, the reason why you get anxious, the reason why you sometimes feel depressed, the reason why you look in the mirror and you aren't happy with what you see is because you have not given yourself a definitive answer with what you want in life. I've just left the gym after about 7 back-to-back sessions. Then I trained, and as I walk downstairs, nice fella comes up to me, starts asking me about my physique and what I do for this and what I do for that. I get this all the time, people asking questions, but never really going anywhere because people don't really want to hear the advice. But if you take the advice that I give you in this YouTube video, by this time, in 4 months, you'll be a different person. And I'm not saying that because I think it's good clickbait or I want you to watch the rest of the video. I couldn't care less if you watch the rest of the video. You can get off this video right now. The fact is, anybody who watches this and takes the advice that I give them because they're unhappy with where and who they are, they're going to completely transform their life only in 4 months. In 4 months, that's all it takes. And you know, in the past, I used to think, oh, what, transformation in 4 months? That's really not a lot of time to make a transformation. I'm not talking about physically. Yes, you can make some physical gains in 4 months. I'm talking about what's going on up here. I'm talking about your day-to-day, because everything is all up here. The foundation of life, the foundation of your physique, of your work, your job, your relationships, it's all starts from this thing up here. And if we haven't got control over this, if we are allowing this thing up here to be the thing that dictates what we do in a negative way, then we need to take control and use this in a positive way. And you can change this in a very short amount of time, because all it takes is the habits that you do on a day-to-day basis, is the perspective, the way you look at things. But you can't change any of these things unless you have defined what you want from life. I have now reached a point in my life where I have my purpose. I know exactly what I want, and I know exactly what it takes to get there. Do you feel like you have your purpose? Because many people don't. Many people have no understanding with why they're actually here. So if you don't feel like you have your purpose, then again, this video is going to be for you. And if you're ready to really and truly take a piece of paper and a pen, and I'm being deadly serious, like this isn't a joke, and take this advice, write down exactly what you need to do, 4 months you'll be a different person. 4 months. 4 months your mindset is going to be transformed. Your life is going to be transformed. Physically, you will make a lot of changes, but that's not the main goal here. The main goal is to become that version of yourself that you're supposed to become. So I speak to this guy, and he's asking me questions, and every time he asks a question, he says, one more question. I said, brother, stop saying one more question. I'll take any question you want, happily. If you meet me in the streets, if you DM me, if you call me, text me, whatever, I will happily answer any question. But please understand that if you're asking a question, if I give you advice, use it. He walked away from the conversation, give me a high five, give me a hug, telling me, yep, I'm gonna listen to that. I like that, that's good. And it's the topic that I wanna stick on today. So he starts asking me, you know, how long you been dieting for? I said, I've been dieting for this long. He says, how much more you wanna lose? I said, I wanna lose this much. He said, why? I told him why. I said, eventually I'm gonna get to a point in about 1 month's time where I'm gonna get into a lean bulk. I'm gonna start putting on weight. And I'm going to do it in a controlled manner. I'm going to put on about 1 kilo a month because I don't want to get fat. I just want to put my body in the best position possible to build the most amount of muscle as possible. So 6 kg in about 6 months, that's what's going to put me in the best position to build the most amount of muscle in this amount of time. I won't put on so much fat. I'll put on a little bit of fat so that when it gets to the end of my bulk, I only need to lose a little bit of fat and I can stay lean throughout this whole time and eat anywhere between 25 and 3,500 calories a day. And so he says, when you start to put on fat, what do you have to do? You know, because I saw you at Nando's, and when you're at Nando's, you're eating chicken butterflies. And I said, I like a chicken breast. Chicken breast works because it's low calorie and high protein. It's got barely any fat. And he says, when you're bulking, do you eat that? I said no, because I need to go for foods that are higher in fat and are higher calories. So I'd go for 4 thighs. That way I double up the calories, same amount of protein, but you double up the calories and it's more enjoyable, it's tastier. And so he starts saying, what else? What else? What else? And I said, hold on a second, you keep asking me these type of questions, but we need to get into the bolts and screws and bolts and the cracks. We need to understand why you're asking these questions. If you're asking me surface level questions like about bulking and about cutting, it doesn't make any sense for me to answer that with a logical answer if there's no true meaning behind the question. And so the first thing you need to do is understand yourself, understand who you are, understand what you want in life, because that's going to lead you to knowing if you're even asking the right question. You might be asking the complete wrong question. And so I said, why are you asking about putting on weight? Are you not in the middle of losing weight? He says, yeah, every day I'm weighing myself, I'm tracking my food, I'm hitting my calories, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. But I was at salsa class the other night and this lady says to me, you've lost weight. He says, yeah. She's instead of complimenting him, I hate when people do this. She says, you know, this is a good weight for you. This is good. If you lose any more weight, you're going to look ill. And he starts thinking, shit, do I do this? Do I continue losing weight because I won't look good? People are going to start judging me. First and foremost, I think it's utterly ridiculous for somebody to say that you've lost too much weight, or that if you lose any more, you're gonna look ill. There is no such thing as lost too much weight. Unless you're truly anorexic and you're not going to the gym, you can't lose too much weight. It's physically impossible. And the reason why people do that, why people like to say something, is because they like to lose more weight, but they find it too hard. So they're just projecting their feelings and their thoughts on themselves onto you. I hate those people, man. I don't hate those people. That's a lie. You know, I always give people the benefit of the doubt. It's the right thing to do is to give the benefit of the doubt. I had this conversation with somebody today, and he was saying that you keep getting hate comments on your Instagram page, and if you still don't follow my Instagram, it's at Itayarva. It's the same name that I've got on this YouTube channel, so follow me up because I post a lot on there, especially with what I'm doing on my day-to-day. And he says, you got a lot of hate comments, but you know, how does that make you feel? And I said, look, I'm fine with the hate comments. I'm really okay with them because I've been in a position before where I didn't like myself, I didn't like who I was, and I would never comment on someone's post, but I would definitely, at least in person, be rude to people, give off negative vibes and negative energy. And it was only because I didn't like who I was and where I was that I had to be rude and just not nice to other people. So when someone's commenting negative hate on my posts, I give them the benefit of the doubt, and I don't care. It doesn't affect me because I know that these people aren't in a good place. So I just feel bad for them, if anything, and I'd love to help them. And if they send me a DM, send me a DM and I'll talk to them. If you're going through some horrible shit, they say hurt people, but I don't take it personally, because when somebody's winning, when somebody's doing well in life, they would never be rude to anybody. So a little negative hate comment, it means nothing. And it's the same way when somebody says, oh, you're looking ill because you've lost too much weight, that's just coming from a negative place. And I respect these people, and I have love for them, but I'm not going to let their negativity affect the way I think and affect the way I move and the actions that I take on a day-to-day basis. They just either one of two things are being projecting because they want to lose weight and they can't lose weight, or they just don't understand and have no basic understanding of fat loss and what it means to lose fat and what it means to be healthy and what it means to focus on mindset. Many people are not like me and you. If you're on this page, it's because you are constantly trying to improve yourself, but not everybody is there. Not everybody is like that. There are some people that just like to float through life. Personally, I don't understand them. I think they're also probably masking that they are truly unhappy with themselves and want to improve. I think deep down we all want success. Deep down we all want to improve our lives. There is no such thing as I want to fail. Nobody wakes up and thinks I want to fail, I want to do worse in life. It's usually I want to do better in life, although people don't understand the basic fundamentals and the principles to allow them to do better in life. And one of the fundamentals is what I'm talking about today, right? So I asked the guy, what do you want to do, brother? Because if you ask me, I think you need to lose more weight. If you ask her, she thinks you need to gain weight. What do you want to do? He was like, well, I wanted to lose a little bit more and then kind of maintain it. I said, perfect. If that's what you want to do, then understand that nobody else's perspective on your life means anything. You need to understand yourself. And so, in order for you to understand yourself, you need to sit down with yourself, with nobody else, with a pen and paper. Grab yourself a pen and a pad. And I told you you're going to need a pen and a pad. And if you have one in front of you right now, you can use it, because I'm going to give you the clear instructions of what you need to do. And then you can go and use that pen and pad after to execute the actual thing that I'm giving you to do. So you take a pen and a pad. And right now you can write this. The number one thing that you need to do is write down desire. Now, this can come in many different titles, many different forms, shapes, sizes. The desire is what you want. It's your desire, it's your action. Sorry, my bad. It's the desire, it's the goal. It's your wants in life. It's not your action. That's going to come in the next step. My bad. So you need to sit down, you need to write, the goal is, the desire is, the want is, the need is. I don't really care how you write it, whichever one feels best for you to write. And then you need to write what that is. And you might need to get in detail, because if you've never done this before, then just writing down that you want to be disciplined, it's not enough. It's really not enough. It's so far from enough. I was at a boxing class a couple of weeks ago, and I asked one of the guys there, what do you want? Why are you here? Why are you here? And he goes to me, well, I live down the road. It's easy for me to come here, something to do. I'm like, all right, well, do you know why I'm here? He says, no. It's like, because I'm a massive pussy. I do not know how to fight to save my life. I have a girlfriend who I want to marry and have children with and have a big family. But if push comes to shove, I don't even know how to protect myself, let alone my family. And because I don't have the confidence in myself to do that, and I can't physically do that, even if it means just diffusing a situation, then my girlfriend, future wife, children are not going to have the confidence in me, and they're going to be shit scared. They're going to not have the confidence in me that I can either beat someone up if need be, or diffuse the situation, which is the ideal thing to do for sure. But they need to have full confidence that I am competent in making the situation go away. Because, you know, anything can happen in life. I'm Jewish. Who knows where and who and how. I could be anywhere and someone gets upset because they hear that I'm Jewish, or maybe they've heard something that I've said online, or maybe it's just a crazy person in the middle of the streets. Maybe it's a homeless man and he wants £1 and I've got no cash on me, and he gets mad, and I've got family right next to me, and you don't know what's going to happen in 5 minutes, let alone what's going to happen in 10 years time. So that's why I'm doing boxing. That's why. So I can learn how to, right? And so this guy who I asked at the gym, he was lying to me. When I told him that I'm a pussy, and I'm sorry to get vulgar, I'm trying not to do that anymore, because, you know, in 10 years time my children are going to be watching this, and I don't think swearing is a good thing. He said, huh? Like he was like thrown back from what I had said, because he was like, whoa, someone's admitting that they're a pussy? This is bizarre. This is something I've never heard of before. You know why he's never heard of it before? Because nobody understands their certain situation. Nobody tells the truth to other people, and that's because they don't even know the truth with themselves. They are lying to themselves every single day. You are unhappy with where you're at. Be honest with yourself. Why are you unhappy with where you're at, brother? It's because you know you could be doing more. You know that every single day that you wake up and you say that you're going to go to the gym and you don't follow through is a day that you begin to lose belief within yourself, trust, and understanding of who you are. And you're scared that you're going to wake up in a few years' time with a bunch of regret, knowing that you could have done more, but you didn't. And now you're getting older, you've got more responsibilities, you've got less money, you've got less energy, less focus, less power, because you didn't put the time in your younger years to really work on yourself. And so you don't want that. And so you really need to sit down with yourself and understand why you're unhappy, who you really are, what you want in life. So let's go back to the notes. The first thing you've written down is what you want. I want X. My desire is X. My goal is X. And it's not I want to be disciplined, or it's not I want a six-pack. What's going on, brother?
Sir.
It's understanding on a deeper level what you want. And that's going to transition perfectly into the next thing you put underneath what you want, which is why you want it. Because if you just want a six-pack because it looks good, that's not going to be the thing that's going to push you to get a six-pack. If you want a six-pack because you know that in order to have a six-pack, it takes discipline, it takes self-control, and the type of man that you want to be requires you to have full control over your life, now we're talking. That's a reason. That is a reason to want a six-pack. When you wake up every day and look yourself in the mirror and you have a six-pack, you have a sense of pride and understanding that you are capable to do anything you want. Because trust me, it is sometimes, not always, sometimes hard to diet down. Sometimes hard to say no to the pasta that's in the fridge, to say no to the takeaway which is convenient, to say no to the cookie which your friend or your colleague or your mom or your brother is shoving in your face, and say, eat it, eat it, eat it. It is hard. It's hard. Sometimes dieting is easy, when you put your mind to something and you truly, have the conviction and the execution is there, like today, for me, I promise you, dieting's easy. Dieting is so easy today because I'm just so locked in that I don't give a shit about anything apart from my goals and the execution required to get me there. I don't care. I do not care. If I'm hungry, I don't care. Good. I like to suffer. I like to be in pain, because this pain that I feel, this resistance that I feel, is me growing as a person. And every single day that I grow as a person is one step closer into the person I'm supposed to become. It's all about character development. We wake up and we develop ourselves every single day so that in 5 years' time, in 10 years' time, in 20 years' time, you are proud of who you are, and also the people around you appreciate who you are. Because the last thing we need as men is not to be appreciated. And if you can't put in the work to be appreciated, then you'll never be in that position. You'll never be in that position. I heard something amazing today. It was like, women, don't tell your man that you love him. Because if you tell him that you love him every single day, I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you, it doesn't do anything for him. Sure, it's nice to hear I love you. I love you, baby girl. That's the shit they want to hear. For sure. Every single day, 5 times a day, 20 times a day, I love you. I love you because... I don't need to go into all of that. But men want to hear, I appreciate you. I respect you. Because then we feel like people need us, and we are constantly on a mission, getting after it, conquering. That's what men are built for, right? So in order for you to feel appreciated, you need to make that happen. If you aren't doing the things that you need to do to feel appreciated, then the people they're not going to appreciate you. They're not going to appreciate you. And so again, do you want to wake up in 10 years' time and not feel appreciated? Or do you want to get up and get after it every single day, right now, whilst the time is right, so that you can feel appreciated and be appreciated by other people, by the people around you? We're here to serve. We're here to serve as men. Every single time there's an issue, where am I? Here I am. This is the solution. Right? But if you haven't worked on yourself for long enough and hard enough, then you're not going to be able to solve that solution. And sometimes it's not about solving this. Solve the problem. And keep getting my words muddled up. But sometimes it's not about solving the problem. Sometimes solving the problem is simply listening. This is something that I'm learning on a day-to-day basis with my girl. It's very hard for me. It's very hard for me to sit there and just hear an issue and not come up with a solution. It's very hard for me, but you're learning, because sometimes women just want you to listen, brother. And so, why? Why do you want to achieve your goal? If you want to know why I want to achieve my goals of getting stronger physically, is because to get stronger physically, you need to go through pain mentally. You need to go through sacrifice. You need to suffer in many different ways, because if you suffer and you go through the things that don't feel good, that's the path of resistance which allows you to grow as a human being, as a man. And that makes you stronger mentally to then go and attack life in every other way possible. With my business, be a good husband, be a good father. And that's the main thing for me. Be a good person, be a good husband, be a good father, be a good businessman, be a good coach. And the foundation of all of this is to serve God. And recently, over the past 4 months, I've had the best 4 months of my whole entire life with business. With what I've done in the past 4 months, I did more. I've made more money than what I did in the first year. And why? Because I finally know my purpose. And the only way I got there is by understanding what my goal is, why I want to achieve these goals. But then, below that, you're going to write down the actions required every single day. Because once you have this trio, this understanding, wow, you are going to you are going to chase this goal with every bit of power that you have inside of you. And you know you have this power inside of you. You know you have this inner drive, this inner force. You felt it before. It's like this fire in your belly, but it's not there right now. It's not there right now, but that's okay. Because you know what is there right now? That urge you get to keep scrolling and to keep eating the things that you shouldn't be eating and to stay in bed instead of going to the gym. That urge that takes over in the moment, which gets you to do the things that is not aligned with your purpose, it's there, so you know it's there. Now it's about directing it the other way and getting you to do the things that is aligned with your purpose. And once you write down those things, then every single day, all you need to do is focus on the action. And when it gets hard, you need to look back at the why. Why are you doing this? Because if you focus on the action, you will eventually get to the goal. It's as simple as that. The goal is here, and all it is action, 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 which gets you to the goal. Sometimes it goes action, 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 hardship, hardship, it gets hard. So what do? You look back at your piece of paper and you understand why, because that why, the reason why you want the goal, is going to help you get past this bump, past this hardship, and continue taking action, 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 action until you get to the goal. That's it. That's it. And all you need to do is follow that for long enough, and 4 months down the line, come talk to me. Come and talk to me and let me know where you are. We are currently on the 18th of August 2026. September, October, November, December. Let's just say by January 1st, when everybody is making their New Year's resolutions, you've already transformed your life completely. There's your answer. So if you haven't written down the stuff that I've told you to write down, and there's only 3 things to do to write down, then you better go back, scroll back if you don't remember, and write down what you need to do. And straight after this video, or if you don't have time straight after this video and you're listening to it whilst driving or working out, whatever, then find a time to do it today, because not tomorrow, not next week, because the right time was yesterday. And write down exactly what I've told you to do, and then fill in the blanks. And once you fill in the blanks, like I said, 4 months from now, you're going to be a completely different person, a completely different human, completely different mindset, and you are going to feel finally aligned with your purpose. The type of man that you want to be, the type of man that you need to be, and the type of man God has put you here to be. So it's time. It's time. And like I said, not tomorrow, not next week, yesterday. Because God has put you here on this earth for a reason. And if you still haven't found that reason, then this is what you need to do to find that purpose and become the man you were always destined to be.